What's up, everybody? Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another daily deck tech video. And today we're starting to wind down on Hobbit commander decks. I'll be doing a couple more, but I promise we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming of just finding legends in my bulk pile and putting those up there, and then the viewer requests. There was going to be a viewer request today, but when I tried to make the deck within the confines of the power level that the person wanted, we ended up way over budget. And so back to the drawing board on that one. Now, today we have Thorin, King of Durin's Folk. But before we get into it, if you like my daily deck techs, if you like Magic for the working class, if you like my historical content, or if you just like when I yap and talk about some things, feel free to subscribe, only if you feel I've earned it. And if you want to see your commander made into a deck tech, drop it in the comments down below, or fill out the Google form in the video description. And now, without further ado, Thorin, King of Durin's Folk. So I've already done a Thorin deck that was Thorin Oakenshield. And I really like the uncommon Thorin Oakenshield. But this Thorin is the Thorin from the Scene Box. Thorin, King of Durin's Folk. He's a 4/4 for 3 generic and Boros. And whenever Thorin or another dwarf you control enters, create a treasure token. Other dwarves you control get +1/+0 for each artifact token you control. Very good. So we're going to play a bunch of dwarves. We're going to get some treasures, and then we're going to beat people to death with the dwarves. We're not going to do anything super fancy. It's going to be very straightforward. And then I'll go over what I consider some cards to upgrade the package before we get into the playtesting part. So I wanted to go very heavily into dwarven flavor here. So we have quite a few. We have Bifur, Melodic Rider. And yes, Bifur is a 6-drop, which is not the greatest in the world, but he's a 4/5 with storied, so if you control 3 or more artifacts, legends, or sagas, you have an enduring story, and whenever Bifur enters or attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Then as long as you have an enduring story, if an ability a dwarf you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time, which is, so think of him as like Dwarf Harmonicon. And so he's going to help Thorin out here with that. We have Bulfur, Reliable Guardian. He's a 1/1 for 1, but you can play him as an adventure to give target artifact or creature hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. That's an excellent little way to protect. Sorry, oh my goodness. Excellent little way to protect your Thorin. And then give you just a 1/1 that gets bigger with treasures. We have Bomber, Gentle Dreamer. He's a 5/3 for 3, storied, and he doesn't untap during your untap step unless you have an enduring story. We have Cadric, Soul Kindler, a 4/3 for 4. The legend rule does not apply to tokens you control. Okay, that's not bad. And whenever another non-token legendary permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you can pay 1. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that token. Or a copy of it. That token gains haste, sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. This is really sweet because not only is he a dwarf that will get you a treasure, but it doesn't say non-token dwarf. So you can poop out extra dwarves when you play these, swing in with them while they're getting the double treasure effect, and just, you know, smash face with dwarves. Dane Ironfoot. When Dane enters, create a colorless equipment artifact token named Axe with equipped creature kits +1/+0, and equip 2. When you do, attach it to target creature you control. And whenever Dane attacks, each equipped attacking creature gains double strike until end of turn. And he's only for 3, so not bad. We have one of Dane's other versions, which is Dane, Lord of the Iron Hills. Vigilance, storied. He's a 2/2 for 2, and he has the same ability as whatever it's called, Archon of Absolution, and then also Baird Steward of Archive, which is as long as you have an enduring story, creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So it's like a ghostly prison effect, but small. We have Dane of the Ancient Halls, Vigilance and Haste, 4/5 for 5, and whenever Dane attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of dwarves you control to each opponent. This guy is good. I'm actually really, really happy that dwarves are getting more support in Magic. Dwarves are my favorite, like, fantasy peoples. In Lord of the Rings, dwarves are my favorite. In Warhammer Fantasy, dwarves are my favorite. In Dragon Age, dwarves are my favorite. I always just find the general aesthetic of their armor, culture, etc. just fascinating. We have Dane's Company. This creature has lifelink as long as you control another dwarf, and when this creature enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a dwarf or equipment card from among them and put it into your hand, put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. That's not bad. And we're going to be controlling another dwarf, so, you know, having him out there isn't the worst thing in the world. Dory, when he enters, he makes a treasure, so if you have your Thorin out, you'll get 2 treasures, plussing your dwarves by 2. Dwellin Weapon Masters, when he enters or attacks, put a hone counter on each equipment you control. Hone counters make it so the equipment grants +1/+0 to the equipped creature. Dwarven Recruiter, not nearly as good as Goblin Recruiter, but still awesome. From Odyssey block, when I started playing, and when Dwarven Recruiter comes into play, search your library for any number of dwarf cards and reveal those cards. Shuffle your library and put them back on top in any order. Please do note, because I've seen Goblins players derp and blow themselves out with this. Don't just early game stack every dwarf in your deck on top. Grab some that you think are important and put them on top, but please note that you still have to keep playing lands and spells. We have Philly and Killy, the Joyous here, haste, and you can tap to add double red. You can only spend that mana on dwarf equipment and saga spells, but getting double red mana dork for our dwarves is pretty good. We have Philly, the Pathfinder. Storied, as long as you have an enduring story, creatures get +1/+1. And whenever Philly or another non-token dwarf you control enters, create a 2/2 red dwarf creature token, which of course the token will trigger with Thorin. So when he enters or another dwarf, non-token dwarf enters, you'll essentially net 2 treasures. Gimli, counter of kills. Gimli, son of Gloin, if you will. Trample, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, Gimli, counter of kills, deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. We have Gimli of the Glittering Caves. He has double strike. He's a 1/1. And whenever another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Gimli of the Glittering Caves. Most of the creatures in this deck are legendary. Whenever Gimli deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. We have Gyat, King of the Dwarves. He's a 1/1 for 2, double strike. And whenever Gyat or another dwarf you control, is it Giat or is it Gyat? I don't know. I'm going to just use the modern slang for Gyat. Whenever another dwarf you control enters, and whenever an equipment you control enters, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Gloin, Dwarven Emissary. Whenever you cast a historic spell, those are sagas, artifacts, legendary creatures. You create a treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. You can sack a treasure to go to creature. Then we have Gloin the Mighty. 4/3 for 4. His adventure side, of course, is easy pickings. Deal 1 damage to each creature your opponents control. Do not discount this. The amount of times that I have blown people out with things like this that just deal 1 damage and just clear an opponent's entire board of tokens is pretty high. Then at the beginning of your first main phase, you had double red. So it's like that one dinosaur that I always forget the name of that has a send where he adds double green. We have Iron Hills Blacksmith, double strike, one power and toughness for 2. When he enters, you create an axe. The axe, of course, is the +1/+0. We have Magda in here. Whenever a dwarf you control becomes tapped, create a treasure. We're pooping out more treasures. This also pumps your dwarves by 1. Now, you can very well put in things like Ancient Copper Dragon and stuff and search them up with Magda, but I wanted a dwarf-themed deck, and so dwarf-themed deck is what we did. We do not have dragons in this deck. Okay? Okay. Nori, Teller of Tales. Whenever Nori attacks, target creature gains first strike until end of turn. Now, if I recall correctly, Nori, in The Hobbit is part of the company, but I believe Nori is the dead dwarf in Balin's tomb in Lord of the Rings that is holding the book. We have Oin the Brave, storied 1/3 for 2. As long as you have an enduring story, gets +1/+0 in haste. You can also pay 1 to discard a card, draw a card, saluting. Then we have Ori, Plate Stacker. Ori, when he enters, destroy all artifacts and enchantments your opponents control. You gain 1 life for each permanent destroyed this way. Yeah, he costs 7, but that's still a pretty decent effect. Plundering Barbarian. When he enters the battlefield, choose one, destroy target artifact, or create a treasure token. Not bad. We have Shattered Acolyte, lifelink, and then you can sacrifice it to pop an artifact or enchantment. We have Sram, so whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. We do have some equipment and equipment cards in here. Thorin, company's leader. Whenever a dwarf you control deals combat damage to a player or battle, draw or create 2 cards. Also, can we please talk about how Battle of the 5 Armies was not a card in this set? Please, can we talk about this? They bring back the word battle on cards, but they don't give us the Battle of 5 Armies. Nor did Lord of the Rings give us the Battle of Pelennor Fields, or the Battle at the Black Gate, or the Battle of Helm's Deep. You know, I'm just, you know, curious. Also, he's got his oak shield right here. Thorin, the Mountain King. Trample, and when Thorin enters, attach any number of target equipment you control to target creature you control. Whenever one or more equipment becomes attached to that creature this way, that creature deals damage equal to its power to one target creature. And then, of course, Thorin, Oaken Shield, Trample. His storied is, as long as you have an enduring story, artifacts and creatures you control have Ward 1. This is not to be discounted. Ward 1 is a lot stronger than I thought it would be. I've been playing it on Arena, and people just, like, whiff hard on the ward there. Brass's Bounty. For each land you control, create a colorless treasure token. Dwarven Reinforcements, you get to poop out some dwarves. Hit the Motherlode, discover 10 if the discovered card mana value is less than 10. Create a number of tapped treasure tokens equal to the difference. Nothing in this deck costs 10, so, you know. Seize the Spoils. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards, create a treasure. Taunt from the Ramparts is going to goad your opponent's stuff. It's, in a way, protection. Instant, big score is going to discard, draw 2, create a treasure. Unexpected Windfall, discard 2, draw 2, create 2 treasures. Thrill of Possibility, discard a card, draw 2. Boros Charm and Unbreakable Charm are primarily going to be in here to give your stuff indestructible until end of turn, but Boros Charm can also be used as a finisher. If you have a whole bunch of dwarves with a whole bunch of treasures and they're very strong, you're going to give one of your big tramply dudes a double strike till end of turn. Probably your Thorin. Now, for artifacts. We are running Arcane Signet, Boros Signet, Soul Ring, and Talisman of Conviction. We're also running Patchwork Banner to pump up our dwarves, which is always nice. We also have Herald's Horn, so we can name dwarf. They cost less, which helps us with some of the really expensive ones. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you're going to be able to look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature of the chosen type, reveal it and put it in your hand. We do have some equipment. We have Bearded Axe, +1/+1 for each dwarf equipment in our vehicle you control. This card's pretty good overall for this deck. Bloodforged Battle Axe, whenever it connects, you get to create a token. That's a copy of Bloodforged Battle Axe. Diamond Pickaxe and Gold Vein Pickaxe are both going to net you treasures. Coin of Mastery just taps to create a treasure token, and each creature you control enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it for each mana from an artifact source spent to cast it. We have the Reaver Cleaver, which is equipped creature gets +1/+1 and trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. Mithril Coat, this card is in here primarily for flavor, and it's good. Flash and Indestructible, and when Mithril Coat enters, attach it to target legendary creature you control. Equipped creature has Indestructible, equip 3. We did put the Arkenstone in here because we are led by Thorin. It's the King's Stone. Sorcery, search your library for a legendary creature card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. And then it has creatures you control get +1/+1, so like an Anthem effect. And at the beginning of your end step, draw a card. This is flavor, pure and simple flavor. Because in the story, the Arkenstone is referred to as the King's Stone or the King's Gem, right? And what do monarchs do in Magic the Gathering? They draw a card at the beginning of the end step. So there you go. Then we have the Mind Stone. Once you harness it, you can flicker. It's like Conjurer's Closet and stuff. Then we have Unexpected Party. You can do X and make a whole bunch of dwarves. And then its enchantment side, as long as as this enchantment enters, choose a creature type. Choose dwarves. Creatures of the chosen type get +2/+2. Flowering of the White Tree, a card that I absolutely adore. Legendary creatures you control get +2/+1 and have ward 1. Non-legendary creatures you control get +1/+1. We have Gimli's Reckless Might. Creatures you control have haste. Formidable. Whenever you attack with creatures you control that have power total 8 or greater, target attacking creature you control fights up to one target creature you don't control. It's Gimli doing Gimli things, being a badass. Rising of the Day. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures you control get +1/+0. And Misty Mountain's Cold technically makes a dragon, but it's going to poop out treasure for 4 chapters until you have 4 treasures, and then it makes a 6/6 dragon. For lands, we have Boros Garrison, Battlefield Forge. We did add Dwarven Mine. It's tapped unless you have 3 mountains, but when it enters, it makes a 1/1 dwarf. We have the Lonely Mountain, I believe. Did I put the Lonely Mountain in here? I did not put the Lonely Mountain in here. Well, sometimes Weston forgets. But you can always put the Lonely Mountain in. Now, for upgrade packages to the deck, all right? I understand that we can generate a lot more treasures. If you want to win via a treasure route and want to do Dwarf flavor, put in Ancient Copper Dragon. It's like $130 right now, so I didn't put it in here. You can also put Knuckles in here because if you have 30 more treasures, you can win the game. Other things to put in here would be Conjurer's Closet, Teleportation Circle. You could even do Airbender Ascension, which those are all flicker effects. They'll help flicker your dwarves because a lot of the dwarves have ETB triggers. Other things you could do, if you wanted to go really big into combat, you could do Chronicle of Victory or Coat of Arms. Just always be careful about Coat of Arms. Yeah, that is the build. Oh, and for protection, if you want to throw Game Changers in here, obviously throw Teferi's Protection in here. The card is really, really, really good. You don't want to get blown out by a Wrath effect. You could add some more equipment and stuff like that. All right, but yeah, that is the build. Now, let's sneaky snake on over into our playtesting, shall we? And let's see what we got here today. We got the Mind Stone, Spectator. All right. This is going to come into play tapped. Oh, unless you have 2 or more opponents. It's not going to come into play tapped because we're playing a game of Commander. Next turn, we're going to draw. I'm going to play a Plains. And I am going to play the Mind Stone. Next turn, I'm going to play Sunbillow Verge. Ooh. I'm going to play Gloin the Mighty. Not bad. He's going to add 2 red. I don't need to do 1 damage to things. So, untap, upkeep, draw. Main phase 1. We have 2 red in our mana pool. Let's just play Thorin. We get a treasure token. We're going to put our treasures over here. And then we can even play another thing. We're going to go ahead and play Gold Vein Pickaxe. Not bad. Next turn, we're going to draw. We get our 2 red. We're going to use 1 of the red to equip Gold Vein Pickaxe to Thorin. And we still have 1 mana available there, plus 5 mana here. I think... Ooh, maybe he's better. Hold on. We're not going to do that yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to play Dane of the Iron Hills. Or Iron Halls. Or Ancient Halls. You know what I mean. And then we're going to equip Gold Vein Pickaxe to him. He has Vigilance and Haste, and he's going to go ahead and swing in for 5. Also, we got a treasure token because another dwarf entered. And when he attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of dwarves you control to target opponent, or to each opponent. So we're going to deal 3 damage to each opponent. Not bad. Next turn, we're going to draw. We get our 2 red. I'm going to use 2 of the red and 1 more red. I'm going to play Bomber. I get to create a treasure token. Oh, and remember, they're getting pumped up because of him. So it wasn't 5. It was actually 7 damage. And then I'm going to do this in a different order. We're going to play Gimli of the Glittering Caves first. Then we're going to play Bomber. And so when we play Bomber, Gimli of the Glittering Caves gets a token or a 1/1 counter on him, and he has double strike. And Bomber here is a storied. We have an enduring story, by the way, because we have enough legends and artifacts. And now we can swing away, Meryl. We're gonna go ahead and swing with Dane of the Ancient Halls, who is currently a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He is an 8, 9. He is a 9/6 vigilance and haste. He's gonna crash in. He doesn't have trample, but you know, nobody's perfect. And he's also gonna deal 5 damage to each opponent. Next turn, we're gonna draw. And we are gonna go ahead and I don't need to do that. I'm gonna pay the 1. We're gonna play Dane Ironfoot. Gonna go ahead and drop a treasure down. When he enters, we get to create an axe token. Look at that, we got an axe. And we get to equip this. We're gonna actually equip this to our Dane. Notice that this is also an artifact token, friends. And Thorin doesn't just go off of treasures, it's artifact tokens. And then yeah, let's play Shattered Acolyte, which nets us another treasure because it's a dwarf. And yeah, there we go. Go ahead and attack. This had another legendary creature enter, so you get another one of these. And he's a 3/3 double strike already. That's not the worst thing in the world. We'll bring in the beats with Dane. He's got double strike now, so he's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they're going to have to block with over 13 toughness for them to even damage Dane. But he's going to get in there, and he's going to smash. Next turn, we're going to draw. Oh, Dwarven Recruiter. Don't mind if I do. I'm going to go ahead and play Dwarven Recruiter. I'm going to search my library. We also got a treasure. Remind me to get a treasure. Where are the cheap guys? What we want to do is we want to throw down cheap. Grab Dane. Thorin, Oaken Shield. Not wine. There's a little 1-drop guy. There we are. Bofer. We'll close and shuffle. We've already used our 2 red. So if we use 1, 2, that leaves us 2 mana available. Go like this. And then we're going to play Thrill of Possibility. We're going to discard the Sting. And then we're going to draw 2. We got a treasure off the... There we go. Treasure off the dwarf. And then we're going to play Thorin, Oaken Shield. Giving us a counter on Gimli. Generating a treasure. If we really wanted to, we can spend a treasure, which we're going to do, to play Bofer. Which nets us a treasure. Gets us a 1/1 counter on our Gimli. And then we swing. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, I am Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.